Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Burns with iHeartRadio Canada, joined by some very incredible artists. It's so nice to see you all here together. This is wild. Okay, we got to start by talking about the song, of course. Theo, you're the mastermind behind this, is that right?
Mastermind, that might be a bit of a stretch. But this song was written, I think maybe what people don't know is the song was written over a year ago. I was going to release it as a solo single. But even when we were writing it, me, Marty Martino, and Liz Rodriguez, two great friends of mine, even in the room, I kind of was saying that this feels bigger. I don't know if it's just mine or meant to be just mine. So we kind of shelved it. And then earlier this year, we revisited it and put the call out to this crew and the other 17 who aren't here right now. So, yeah.
That's wild. There's over 20 in total. That's got to be a lot to manage and then record and then decide who does what part. How did you all find out about it? How did that come together? T, what about you?
I think Theo reached out to me and sent it my way, and I was just like, oh, yeah, this is definitely something I want to do. And I did feel for you because I feel like you're saying, so many musicians, it probably felt like herding cats sometimes. Right. And I felt like I was just very happy to be one of those cats and very happy to be here, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with creatives, too, they're more type B personalities than type A. So was it difficult to wrangle everyone for this?
You know what? Not near as much as I was expecting. You know, like I feel like once we kind of had the ball rolling and we had some momentum, everything was pretty seamless from then on in. And like things just grew so organically. I don't think myself or anyone on my team in particular expected it to become as big as it became. And I think that's when you know something is special, when it just happens so naturally.
Yeah, totally. Ryland, how did you hear about it? How did you react?
It was the same thing. They kind of reached out to me, and it was just like a very random thing because I was going through something at the time, and just having that reach out, it was like, oh, this is perfect timing. And the whole thing just felt very meant to be because they said I was like kind of on a list of artists they had, and they weren't sure, and then they like reached out, and it just all kind of came together very fast within a couple days. And I came in and recorded. I didn't know anyone else who was on the track at the time, and then I came in and saw all the people, and some I knew and some I didn't, and I was like, this is just so cool that it's bringing so many people together that maybe we wouldn't have met, you know, if we didn't come together on this song. And I think it's such an important thing with what's going on in the world right now, and it's never really been done before, I think, to this extent. So very, very cool and thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah, and that's what I love about being part of the LGBTQ plus community, is that it is a community, right? And we find each other and we work together and we do create art like this. So Vi, how about you? Did you know the people that were on the song? How are you approached about it?
I remember getting an email or a DM, I can't remember, from someone on your team, and I wasn't sure about it. I'm like, what is this all about? Who's part of it? And I, like, thankfully, and like, you guys included a list of who was already a part of it, and one of my really good friends, Bryn, was on it, and she actually recommended you guys to reach out to me. So I'm really, really happy that I'm like amongst friends, and I know I've known T for a while as well, so it feels like a big little family.
Yeah,
you know?
Bryn was pretty. I have to give a shout out to Bryn because she was really instrumental in bringing a lot more of this crew on. I think 25% was brought on by her hand. So we love you. We wish you were here too.
Love you, Bryn.
Love Bryn.
I haven't met you, but I want to meet you.
I haven't met you either.
I'm sure I'll love you.
Shout out, Bryn. I love that. Can you tell me a little bit about the messaging behind the song, This Little Light?
You know what? I think that it's unfortunate to have to say this, but I feel like there has been a very real, drastic shift in negativity towards our community at large. You know, as someone that's been in the industry for, 15 years now, it was hard when I kind of first got in, and I felt it then. And then there was kind of this bit of like peace for a while, it felt. And in the last 6-7 years, I'd say there's just been this really big turn, and it's so noticeable, and it's getting stronger and stronger. And the amount of just hateful rhetoric that is being spewed towards us on a daily basis on social media is wild. So that's kind of where the song started. And I felt, if I'm getting this as, a gay, white, cisgender man, then what are the people of color in the community getting? What are the trans and non-binary people in the community getting? And I think one thing that was so shocking is that a lot of this hateful rhetoric is coming from people who call themselves Christians. And as someone that was raised in a really strict Christian environment, that's something that just hits even harder for me. So I felt like what better way to take back our power as queer people than to take a song like This Little Light of Mine and rewrite it as a queer anthem and ruffle some feathers along the way.
Yeah, and you did ruffle some feathers with it, right? You've gotten some maybe not so great feedback for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of love. The song's only been out for a day now. There's been a lot of love, more love than not love, which is always so wonderful. But yeah, there has been some people who are commenting specifically on the fact that we took a song that is rooted in the Christian faith and turned it into a queer anthem. Which I'm glad about. I'm very happy to start that conversation. You know, I feel like for some people it's God or gay, and that's just simply not the case.
Yeah, I love that so much. I love anytime that you can like incorporate the two as well, because like you said, I feel like people are always separating it.
That's
Vi,
it.
you were born in Qatar, is that right?
I was born in Calgary, and
Okay.
then when I was 6 months old, I moved over to the Middle East.
Yeah, and that's somewhere where there's still persecution for being queer. Can you speak on that a little bit?
I won't like speak too much on it, obviously, but I think you know, growing up, like my dad is in the military and stuff, like very, you know, like traditional. I think I had a lot of like internalized homophobia against myself. Like I knew it was definitely something that was a part of me from a young age, but I think I suppressed it for a long time. But you know, once obviously you go onto the internet and have a little bit of freedom, you kind of, I feel like it was a helpful way for me to discover myself. But yeah, over there, I wouldn't even be able to think about actually living my true authentic self. I really hope I don't get any hate from over there for that. Please take me back. I would love to come back if you'll have me.
Ryland, with the, like we talked about, like the rise of hatred that's been in the LGBTQ plus community, what advice would you give to somebody who doesn't feel like they can be themselves?
That's such a good one. And I feel like it's such a complicated thing when you have so much outside, you know, force mirroring back to you that it's not okay, right? Like that's such a difficult thing. And I think the greatest advice is like really just rooting into yourself and focusing on yourself. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the external and, you know, what everyone else is saying and what is being given to you. And often we get so caught in like who we are coming from the outside when really inside you are you, and nobody can take that away from you. Like nobody can take away your power and your love for yourself unless you allow it. And as hard as it is, it's like just focusing inward and continuing to refill yourself with like that power, and you know, allowing yourself to know like this is who I am at the core when I'm with myself, and trying to take that into the world as difficult as it is, and to sort of be like a warrior and a gladiator in a way for, you know, this community, and being like, no, this is who I am, and this is who I'm going to be, whether you like it or not, kind of thing. And yeah, so I just say that it's like a lot of inner work, but very, very worth it in the end, because then you know who you are regardless of what anyone else is saying on the outside. Yeah.
I think that's so well said.
Yeah.
That's so incredible. And I love this time of year because it gives us almost like an excuse to get together and talk about queer things and queer issues.
Yeah.
For you too, what does Pride mean to you? What does Pride Month mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely thinking about that a lot this year, especially. I think for me, Pride means liberation for everyone in the world. You know, free Palestine. That's like what I'm thinking about a lot this Pride Month. And I think it's about not forgetting where we came from, where we started. The trans women of color who like were at the front of the riot at Stonewall, you know, and I feel like sometimes we've moved away from that a little bit. And I just think, you know, remembering our kind of roots, the roots of Pride as a riot, Pride as a resistance, that's really important to me this year and on always. Yeah,
Totally. I got goosebumps while you're doing that. Are we going to get more music from this group of people?
I mean, I'm really hoping. It's been interesting because even yesterday there's a number, I'd say probably a dozen of queer artists across Canada that have reached out saying, if you do this again next year, I'd love to be involved. And that was kind of the hope, was that this would be the initial push. and that every year we can kind of circle back and write something new, something that, you know, is relevant for the time of what's happening in a year from now. I mean, ideally, I would like to get to the point that we don't ever have to release a song like this, you know? But like T said, you know, Pride is a protest first and foremost. And it's really trying to just bring it back to, you know, like, I'm very happy to have a very healthy, logical, respectful debate with many different people. I think that that's important. One thing that is not up for debate is our right to exist peacefully. And I think that you can believe whatever you want to believe. I will defend to the ground your right to believe it, but our right as queer people to exist peacefully is not up for debate.
Yeah, well said. I think we should leave it on that. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. You're going to perform as well, which you can check out in another video. But thank you all so much for being here, sharing your word.
Thank you.
That's so great. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Amazing.